Welcome back to another episode of the Lavesh Show. Now, I know normally you're used to seeing me with my gold mic, you're used to me reading something on the screen and whatever, because it's a podcast, I generally have the episode scripted, but I thought, let me try something different this week. Let's go into a free format episode. Let's see what happens. Let's see how this goes. Now, okay, one thing that I have to mention this weekend was Monza, but things got crazy at Monza. Like, the first thing that happened was on the Thursday during the practice sessions. Well, it wasn't actually a practice session for the Formula One, but it was a practice for the medical cars and the safety car. And what happened was the safety car ended up crashing into the wall. Now, I know that's crazy. It sounds wild. It's been ages. I don't know if there's actually been a time when a safety car has crashed into a wall prior to this. But yeah, it's super crazy. Who would have expected it? I mean, Monza is crazy. Parabolica had another one or two crashes. It had a few others during FP2, FP3, whatever the case is. But in Formula One, during FP1 or FP3, no, it was FP1, Kimi Antonelli was racing George Russell's car. He was testing George Russell's car, and he ended up crashing into the wall at Parabolica, which totally demolished the car. Now, I know what you're thinking. Yeah, that's a bad thing. Mercedes wants to sign him. How can he go and crash Russell's car on a race weekend, etc.? But in an interview, Toto Wolff said, they expected the risks. They know the risks. That's the chances that you take when you let a rookie test drive a car in P1 and things. But they allowed it. So yeah, they expected that risk. They accepted full responsibility for it, whatever. And on the Saturday before qualifying and that, or was it Friday? I can't entirely remember now. Antonelli was announced as Mercedes' new driver to replace Hamilton. Now, that means that Antonelli is going to be racing in 2025 for Mercedes. And most people knew that this was coming for a while, but let's see. I think it's going to be good for him. I think it's going to be good for the team. But he's going to have big shoes to fill because now he has to take over from Hamilton. So a lot of people were saying that maybe it would be better if they rather went towards somebody more experienced, like if they rather fought for somebody like Carlos Sainz. But they didn't do that. They had their faith in Antonelli, and let's see how it pays off. Yes, he crashed the car in practice, but that's always the case. I mean, a safety car crashed in practice as well. So things could go any way. Yeah, other than that, it was perfect weather at Monza. The race went good. People were quite happy with the way the race went. I was personally happy with the race went. Teams were happy. Now, the team that won't be happy is Red Bull. They had a rather dismal performance. Max and Perez did quite terrible in their race. Now, Max was third. He moved up to second. He was race leader for a bit. But after some pit stops and things, he went down. And I mean, a shocking winner was Leclerc. I know the Tifosi were extremely happy about this. The Ferrari team is an Italian brand, and the locals were extremely excited about everything. Now, I personally hoped that it was a McLaren win. I would like to see McLaren win a Constructors' Championship, and I would like to see Norris take the Drivers' Championship. And things are extremely close in the Constructors' Championship. The Drivers' Championship is closing in. Norris is really closing in on Verstappen. They are not too far out on points, but that is how racing goes. That's how Formula One is. That's what makes it such a competitive sport. That's why we love it. It's because anything can happen at any time. We're so used to seeing Red Bull and McLaren win every Red Bull and Max Verstappen win every single week that this is an entirely new, refreshing turn of events. I mean, we've had different drivers winning multiple races. We've had Hamilton winning 2 races. We've had Russell on the podium. We've had Piastri on the podium. We've had Norris on the podium. We've had Verstappen again. We've had Charles Leclerc, we've had Carlos Sainz, we've had a lot of different drivers on that podium. And it's fantastic. And when I say on the podium, I also mean that those drivers that I mentioned actually won races. And that is wonderful. We've had drivers outside of those drivers as well that made it onto the podiums as well. So I'm super happy with the way this season's going. I hope that things do change up a bit. Mercedes had a rather, well, I can't say an extremely poor weekend, but they did have a bit of a poor weekend. Things wasn't as they would have hoped. Again, Red Bull weren't happy with their performance. We know they weren't happy with it. I mean, for a team that was winning almost every single weekend, and now you're coming through and you're struggling to make it into the top three, that is something else. I don't know if it's something to do with the car as well, together with morale. So when it comes through to a driver like Max, it could be something where his morale is dropping as well. I know a lot of you Max fans are definitely going to fight me on this. You are going to say that it's not that, but I feel that he is most likely feeling it quite a bit, not coming out with a 20-second margin every single weekend. And now it's that McLaren are getting 20-second margins. Mercedes are doing quite well at the top of the field. Ferrari is doing well at the top of the field. That's 4 teams. Now, one of the other things that I did like about this weekend was that a big announcement that came through was Logan Sargent is no longer going to be racing for Williams, and this was the first weekend that Franco Colapinto took over. The Argentinian is quite young. He has been racing in F2 for Williams F2 team in the academy, and he is now racing for Williams. He's going to race till the end of this year. As we know, Williams is making big moves. They have signed Carlos Sainz as well to race for them for 2025 and up, which was also another shocking move. But let's see how that goes. I do wish Franco extremely well for the remainder of the season. I know he's going to do well. He is going to struggle a bit because it is the middle of the season. He's not used to the car. He hasn't had too many sessions behind the car. But yeah, we're going to have to hope that things go well for them. Williams might be able to bring something back, especially with the Sainz move for next year. Yeah. Now, we have 2 teams that don't have drivers as yet confirmed. One is RB. They are currently without a driver in Daniel Ricciardo, as he is going to be leaving them at the end of 2024. But I'm saying he's going to be leaving them. That doesn't mean that he is actually leaving them as yet. The team could decide to resign. I know how it goes. Every time I release an episode and say something like this, news comes out exactly the opposite because the F1 gods are dead against me saying things like this. So yeah, who knows? Ricardo could be re-signed to, they could extend his contract with VCARB. Let's see how that goes. And one of the other team that doesn't have a driver is Kick Sauber. Now that is going to become Audi from 2026. We know this. This has been discussed too many times. People have been going crazy about this news. It's always been there. Every time people mention Kick Sauber, it's that Audi bought over Sauber, and yeah, it's going to be a German manufacturer in there. They've already signed Nico Hulkenberg, who is a German driver as well, and a lot of rumors have said that it's going to be another German driver that they are going to look at signing. So possibly Mick Schumacher. I know when he was racing in 2023, I wasn't happy with the way he raced. He wasn't that great of a driver. So who knows, 2025, 2026 could be the year for him. But I personally feel that they could be looking at somebody like Bottas, re-signing him, or they could even look at Zhou Guanyu. I know I've said this many a time. Zhou Guanyu would be the perfect option for them because he is the entry into the Chinese market. We've seen the reception that they got from the Chinese market. Zhou had his own small little stand for his car at the Chinese Grand Prix this past year, which was fantastic. He wasn't in the top 3 and whatever, but that welcome from the country, the amount of green caps that we've seen for Kick Sauber was unbelievable. So for an entry into that market, it's brilliant for them, or to at least retain that market. I mean, the Chinese population is one of the biggest in the world, and if they can get into that market, the amount of money, licensing deals, etc. from the Chinese market is going to be crazy for Kick Sauber or Audi when they get in. But yeah, Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for listening to the Lavesh Show. My name is Lavesh, and I am your host. I hope to see you in next week's episode.